How y'all doing? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be talking about a collapse within.
It just seems like for those of us who are awake and aware, it's like you just see one company falling after the next and after the next, and it's like people are just looking around and saying, I don't really recognize my country anymore. I don't really recognize all of these companies anymore. What is going on? And that's what we're going to be talking about today, just kind of diving into this. This is meant to wake up people that are asleep, and this is also meant to encourage those of you who are awake and paying attention, and just to be that light of encouragement to just say, we're all in this together, and even if you don't think you're in this, you're in this. So you have to figure out what side you're going to be on in this whole thing, and embrace that and just charge forward with what it is that the Lord's going to have you to do. Where are you going to draw those hard lines? What are you going to need to do? And not to be divisive with everybody else, but just to be focused on yourself and your family and figure out how to move forward.
So our concern with our country, I definitely don't think there's any concern that I have about World War III happening or anything. All that I've been seeing for the last several years is a bunch of craziness that has been going on, and if any of these other countries were smart, they would just sit back and hold tight, because it's really sad where our nation is going, and I'm no longer, never really was, but certain people were proud to be Americans, and I would definitely not want to say that anymore, because I am definitely not proud to be American. And it's really sad just what's been going on for the last 100 years, and they're only turning up the heat. We are the frog in the pot, and they're turning up the heat, and every day it seems like I find out about a new company going woke.
Absolutely. And I think that, there still can be a sense of pride or belonging to an ideal that we held to, of what was Americana, what our grandparents came to believe in and establish in this country, what our great-great-grandparents, for some of you, held to, just those core beliefs and those that sovereignty and that right of independent living, and believing in a God in heaven, and morality, and just being of good ethics and character and all of that stuff. I mean, there's so much good that our country was founded on and began with. And I think that that's where our pride, if we have any left, that's where it holds on to, is that old ideal of freedom and independence, those old ideals of just biblical foundation and sovereignty. And that's kind of, we've strayed so far from that today that, I was talking to a lady friend this afternoon, and she said, we deserve fire and brimstone. Like, we deserve, a plague from heaven to come down and rain upon us. And that's what we deserve as a nation, because of what we're promoting and what we're becoming a beacon of through the whole world. But that's not to say that God still has a remnant. All in the whole world, God still has a remnant, and he still has his hand on his people, and he's not going to let them go. And it's time, when the times get dark, light shines forth even brighter. and it's time to shine forth and be really bright right now. I think it's time to really make that separation, make that distinction, and be the people that the Lord has called us to be, and be that remnant, and remind people of our history. If there's lots of ways to do that, being reminded of your history.
Real quick, I just wanted to tell y'all about TheTexasBoys.com. It is the best way to support our channel, where we sell unvaccinated honey in 1 gallons, half gallons, and also smaller containers like this. And this one is pecan honey, and then we got pumpkin spice honey. We have our own coffee line, and that's ranging from normal coffee, flavored coffees, and CBD coffee and lion's mane coffee. A very new thing on TheTexasBoys.com is our parenting course and our young men's course. So if you are raising up some young men, I would highly recommend you to go over there and check it out. Us brothers sit down and just kind of discuss all of the things that we've learned over our little life here on the farm, and we just try to instill some of that wisdom into the next generation, or our generation. So
yes, and if you're a parent, go check out our new parenting course that me and my husband put together. We're just really excited again to share all of our experiences that we've gained over the years parenting our 6 children. We're just really, really excited about the courses. It's a brand new leap of faith for us, and we're excited about the interaction. It's going to be a lot of one-on-one personal interaction. We're going to take you by the hand and just take you through these courses. So go check them out.
Be the change, you know.
Okay.
That's what we talk about all the time. Be the change, because we get a lot of comments and emails, and people always asking the question, you know, what should I do? What should I do? And we say, be the change, you know. Do 1% every day, and at the end of 100 days, there's 100%, you know. So be the change. So whatever it might be, between all of these companies going woke, picking several of them and not buying from them. We are not all perfect. You have to pick your battles, you know. So, you know, we haven't shopped at Target for like,
oh my,
who even knows how long.
I haven't shopped at Target since back when you were a baby.
Yeah.
I think, you know, was the last time I
Because
went to Target.
Back then we even started seeing some weird shady stuff going down, and we're like, we ain't shopping here anymore. So, you know, we all pick our battles, you know,
Right.
because I know people comment and be like, but you shop on Amazon. I know, but you know, you got to pick your battles.
Yeah. And if you can find products in other places
Correct.
for this a reasonable price, or there's a reasonable price difference, then by all means put your dollars where your you know, where your ethics lie, and do that. So, and we're working towards that. You know, there's these different big box companies that just got to be really convenient for all of us.
Yep.
But yet we've traded our convenience for our freedoms, and we don't ever want to do that. So, you know, even looking to places like eBay, that's more of a freer type market system, I would say, where you can direct buy from sellers. It doesn't have the convenience as like a subscribe and save type of thing, but sometimes you can save a lot of money if you're looking for products there, or going into your local stores and finding things. So yeah, definitely putting your money where your mouth is. But then on the same token, you don't want to be like, you know, casting stones at anybody else. Like, you shop at Walmart still for your food? That's horrible. Well, like, everybody's got to feed their family, and everybody has to make their decisions. So maybe you shop for 50% of your food in other places, but then you still have some things that you are still left buying at Walmart because of price or whatever it has to be. There is reality in all of this balance too, right?
Yeah.
So just doing the best we can, making the best decisions that we can for the situation that we've been given. You know, some of us have really large families, and you know, it matters, like, you know, and then other people, it might just be you and your husband,
Yeah.
but maybe you're on a really strict income and, you know, a really limited income. And so for you, Walmart, it kind of works out too, or maybe that's the only grocery store in town. So we have to have reality as well
Yeah.
in this, but we're all just doing. The best thing is you're aware of it.
Correct.
And you're just, like you said, taking a little baby step
Yeah.
every single day. Like yesterday, I was looking for different products that I have on my subscribe and save for filling up my pantry. And I was saying, okay, where else can I buy these specific products?
Yep.
And I found several different products on eBay from private sellers, and they were way cheaper. So there's an idea there with that.
Yeah. And just being the change, and also it's not just with your money, it's also being the change with your family, or if you don't have a family, just being the change with you, so that when people see you, they can look at you and be like, oh wow, that guy or girl or whatever, you know, loves the Lord, and it looks like he has some principles and some standards, and he's not backing down and putting on these little tiny nasty gross pants and wearing a purse over his shoulder. I can't tell you what I see. It's so crazy. I'm in a small town. It's not like there's 100,000 people there. Small town, in a hardware store, walking out to our pickup truck. A guy in a Jeep pulls up. He has a purse on, like shorty shorts on, and like some like flamingo shirt on with a purse, and he jumps in his Jeep and drives away. And I'm like, what in the world? And he had his makeup on all weird and stuff. I'm like,
oh, wow.
it's sad. It's a sad reality that, you know, we're this weird life that we live in. It's definitely clown world. And I think that's the other reason why it's so important to live out in the country as a family here on the farm, being able to separate ourselves from the world and not being immersed in the world. And I think that just that it's just everything's going woke. And if you've ever read Revelations before, you know, a lot of those things are coming true, y'all, and it's pretty crazy. And the whole we're not going to be able to buy or sell thing is coming pretty quick. At least that's what it seems like. But you never know. It might be another 100 years. It might be tomorrow. Or it might be the next 10 minutes here. So just being the change and getting back to our roots.
Yeah.
Figuring out, researching what your great-grandparents did. I think really what should be on most people's top of their list, and what's on the top of our list, is food. Food security. And that's why we're big time into figuring out different ways to preserve food, grow food, all that type of stuff. And also, we've really been loving saving our own seeds, and we've been doing that for numerous years now. And all those little skills that have been slowly lost over the last several generations, and now we have this TikTok generation that absolutely knows nothing and is just super weird, and they can't even pronounce normal, simple sentences because of all of the crazy woke words that they're not allowed to say or they're supposed to say. But yeah, so be the change, and that's what we're doing here on the farm, being the change. And you know, you're doing pretty well when the trash guy notices, and he's like, this is awesome. He's like, y'all young kids are out there. He's like, I see y'all every day out there working in the garden and on your farm. He's like, that's awesome. And he's like, why are you doing that, you know? So, you know, there you go. You know, being a good testimony to your neighbors. You don't know who's watching. God's watching, but also you don't know who's watching too. So always keeping that in mind, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, and just going, when you do interact with your family or in the community, that you are just shining forth your light and just being, just like you can be discouraged by seeing certain people or bumper stickers or certain things, right? You can also be encouraged, right? If you see a really cool bumper sticker that says something about freedom or whatever, and you're like, yeah, that's awesome. You can like really be that bumper sticker, right? So it's not all about the outside, but we want that full integrity where our inside does match our outside when we are interacting publicly, especially. We want you could just be a breath of fresh air to somebody, just like when 100%. I see an older man and he's got a little plaid shirt all tucked in and he's very respectable. That breathes life to another person that is conservative in principles and things. And that is, it's worth the effort that it takes to present yourself in a way that is authentic to who you are. And other people that are on another extremist side, they have no problems with making the effort to present themselves authentically of how they are, right? And you can see exactly who they are and what they stand for a lot of times by how they present themselves, right? And vice versa. The same should go for us, is that little bit of encouragement. And I know that is something so small. I'm just talking about the outward appearance, which only goes skin deep. I understand. But it should match with the inward character that we have. And just being real, being a real,
genuine human being,
genuine person, that you are just authentic to who you are and what you believe, and that just shines light in a really, really dark world. And as all of these companies go woke and we're making these decisions, sometimes it feels like daily. Like, oh, okay, well, where am I going to buy my chocolate now from? Because these 5 companies are all woke, and probably both, they're using bioengineered food.
Crazy.
If it says that plainly on the package and I am not okay with putting that into my body, then because I'm not willing to be their guinea pig, it's taking those chocolate chips back into the store and returning them and being an authentic, real person. And enough to say, hey, I really wanted to go home and make chocolate chip cookies, but I'm gonna have to return these because I see it says bioengineered food. And did you know? And having that conversation with that person as you're returning them and saying, did you know what that means? Do you know what they're doing to our food? Whenever you see this, do you know what that actually could be that's in our food? And they might look at you like you have 10 heads, but that's okay, because you are just speaking the truth and you're doing it in a respectful way. And it's just making those choices. And if we just keep going along to get along and burying our head in the sand and saying, like, there are no weeds, this is where we're at. So at some point, you have to pick your head up out of the sand, and you're going to have to stand up and face, and fight and face reality. And it's just the little things, like you said. Like today, you put in 2 posts and a gate, and you just do a little bit every day, on the farm, and it makes huge progress, right? And this morning, you just went out and you made sure that the garden got watered, right? And you took care of your business.
The 1% rule. That's all it is.
That little tiny, yesterday I found a place where I could buy, 3 of my products that I normally get from Amazon.
so much for dedicating some time out of your life and watching this